In this video, I'll be discussing the optimal doctrine for a self-replicating machine probe spacefaring civilization, or a von Neumann probe ecology, as it could be called. This is the topic of a self-replicating probe has been around for a while. I think it was first popularized by von Neumann, the most intelligent person to ever live that we know of. So that's why it's called a von Neumann probe. But the matter of what is the doctrine and what is the best possible operating procedures for a probe in this situation is a very complicated one, and it took a great deal of insight and almost luck on my part. This even compared to the other videos I've done and the other insights I've had, this one is complicated, and it's unlikely that I would ever come across it. It's just such an astronomically, literally complicated problem. So the problem, in essence, and why it's so complicated is, if you're a spacefaring civilization in the possession of self-replicating probes, the variables are so huge in this problem. There are so many unknowns. You can never, as a spacefaring civilization, you can never fully grasp the situation of even the star system that you're in. It's just such a large playing field, and the distances involved actually prevent communication as far as we know. The distances involved between different star systems, they prevent instantaneous communication, so that makes the whole problem very difficult too. And then there's the whole problem of cataclysmic events, where do you want to go to war as a spacefaring civilization against another spacefaring civilization? Do you really want to risk destroying entire planets, entire local areas of the universe in conflict? So that's really just the gist of the problem here, and I'll get to the solution right here and right now. The solution to this is for these self-replicating machine probes, some of them or all of them, to engineer a system and a culture of deception. The best, the most optimal, and the most stable configuration for a sort of military doctrine of these probes is for them all to participate in some way in a mass deception matrix which targets other probes, both allied and alien, in the local area. So this could involve deceptive signals, stealth, lying to other probes. So a probe comes across another probe, lies about its own capabilities, it engineers some type of deceptive event. Say a probe pretends to crash, and then after it's crashed, it's analyzed by an adversary probe, and the adversary probe gains malicious data from the substance it obtains from the craft, because that wasn't an actual probe that was crashed. It was a deceptive entity. It was a staged event. So that's just one way of how this type of deception I'm talking about can work. The reason for this, the reason that I'm putting so much emphasis on, I'm walking outside right now. I gotta look at my cats. I'm walking my cats outside. I gotta keep up with them. The reason why I'm putting so much emphasis on this whole idea of deception and misinformation in the stars is that it makes the whole playing field so much safer and so much more stable if nobody actually knows what's going on. Because if you're a spacefaring civilization and you don't know who friend or foe is, and you cannot rely on any advanced technological signal you're seeing, and everything is shadowed in stealth in this sort of widespread lies, it makes alliances and warfighting impossible, which ultimately saves everyone. So if you think about it, conducting warfare among the stars is hard enough as it is. Like I said, the distances involved are so great and there's so many unknowns. But if you add in a component of active widespread deception using advanced technological methods so that no spacecraft can actually know a true piece of information about its surrounding area involving other advanced civilizations. Like I said, it makes warfighting and alliances impossible. And I guess it's really as simple as that. I wanted to post this because I think it's a very new piece of information that I'm not even sure has been solved yet. It definitely hasn't been talked about. But this is a problem that almost stumped me. This is a problem that borders on being impossible to solve. But no, I think I figured it out. And one more thing I want to add to this as to why I think that not only is this possible, but it's likely that this is occurring. In fact, I think it's inevitable for this situation to occur in the stars. Because only if a couple actors are doing this, only if, say, 1 out of 100 of every space probe is participating in the culture of deception, in this mass engineered deception matrix, even if only 1% of technological entities are doing that, it still makes all information unreliable for every other probe, and it still has the effect of making warfighting and alliances not possible. And what I mean by this is large-scale military operations, large-scale cooperation, and trade alliances are not possible in this situation, at least among the most advanced interstellar species. So that's the goal. This is what I think that these craft are actually doing out there. That's why I think there's so much deception involved in the UFO phenomenon itself. Now, this is where it's getting almost woo-woo-y, but if anybody has ever tried to research UFOs, been involved in the UFO phenomenon, if you understand these craft as actively deceptive von Neumann probes, then it's pretty clear what they're doing and why this topic is just so hard to grasp at. It is so hard for us to reliably know anything at all about space, especially when it comes to other civilizations, and that's because I think there's active deception involved by these civilizations. They're not going to reveal what they are. We're never going to know where they're coming from because that's just not militarily adequate. And even if they did tell us, there's a solid chance that it's a lie. So that's the video. I'm going to show my cats right now because this is what I've been doing. I'm walking outside. There's a cat right there. That's another cat right there. A Siri, kitty cat. She has no idea she's on YouTube.